While the Kremlin dreams of withdrawing the Ukrainian Armed Forces from the Donetsk region, the Ukrainian Defense Forces continue to methodically attack the enemy in the Donetsk region, achieving new territorial gains and inflicting significant losses on the Russian occupiers. As it became known on Wednesday, October the 22nd, Ukrainian troops drove the invaders out of the village of Kucheriv Yar, retaking control of the town. The General Staff reported this. Airborne assault troops took part in the liberation of the village. The General Staff released a video showing Ukrainian soldiers planting the Ukrainian flag in the village. Ukrainian soldiers planted a Ukrainian flag in the liberated village, a symbol of the return of life, freedom, and fortitude. Step by step, Ukraine is reclaiming its own. The DShV statement reads, "In addition, as part of this operation, the Ukrainian Armed Forces significantly replenished their exchange fund by capturing more than 50 Russian occupiers. As previously reported, the Ukrainian Forces counteroffensive in the Pokrovsk sector has been underway since August the 21st. Since then, the Ukrainian Armed Forces have managed to liberate significant territory, inflicting heavy losses on the occupiers in both manpower and military equipment. According to the Ukrainian General Staff, the Dnipro counter-offensive operation in the Pokrovsk sector has been underway since August the 21st. During this time, Ukrainian Armed Forces have liberated 182.8 square kilometers of territory in the Pokrovsk district. Another 230 square kilometers of territory have been cleared of Russian sabotage and reconnaissance groups. During this time, the Russian occupation army has lost 13,945 soldiers and officers in this sector of the front, including 8,402 irreparable losses, 5,419 wounded and 124 captured. From August the 21st to October the 16th, Ukrainian forces in the Pokrovsk district destroyed 32 enemy tanks, 102 armored combat vehicles, more than 150 artillery systems, 435 vehicles, and more than 4,000 UAVs of various types. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces also reported that the enemy is continuing its attempts to gain a foothold in Pokrovsk. Russian sabotage and reconnaissance groups are infiltrating the city, and Ukrainian counter-sabotage groups and UAV operators are playing a particularly significant role in their destruction. The Ukrainian General Staff has particularly emphasized the presence of soldiers from the 138th Special Forces Center of the Military Law Enforcement Service. In mid-summer of this year, Russian military command assembled a force of over 110,000 troops near Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region. The enemy set its sights on encircling and capturing the city. In early August, Russian occupiers launched an offensive near Pokrovsk in Dnipro, but were repelled by Ukrainian Armed Forces reserves. Thousands of Putin's soldiers are stranded and starving to death on islands in the Dnipro River after being cut off from other Russian forces. As many as 5,000 Russian troops are believed to have perished in the death zone, a marshy islet south of Kherson, according to the Daily Mail. Cloaked in makeshift camouflage made of reeds and mud, they lie low in the water, hoping the narrow channels will conceal their escape back towards Russian-occupied territory. But high above, Ukrainian troops are watching their every move. Soon, the buzz of a suicide drone cuts through the mist. It swoops on the boat, and then it explodes, says the Telegraph. The stretch of water is known for its reed-covered marshes, with narrow tributaries feeding into the river and acting as a natural barrier south of Kherson. After identifying the troops through ripples in the water and with their position locked, Ukraine's suicide drones swept in to target the soldiers as they attempted to flee. The area is a death zone for Russia. Colonel Alexander Savnotov of Ukraine's 30th Marine Corps said, "The river's location means the right bank is held by Ukraine, with the lower-lying marshland on the left, which is often prone to flooding, currently occupied by Russian troops. Ukrainian intelligence suggests that 5,100 Russians have died this year alone on the delta, either through a lack of supplies or after being targeted by Ukraine's military. The prisoners that our fighters recently took on the islands talked about the inability to deliver food and drinking water to them. And they have to drink water from the river," said Colonel Zavtonov. "Enemy advances are carried out by small groups that try to camouflage themselves, a tactic not seen at the beginning of the war," added Oksana Kozan, head of the analytical department at the Ukrainian Security and Cooperation Center. Russian military units remaining on the islands in the Dnipro Delta are facing serious problems with food, ammunition, and rotations. Relentless drone flights, artillery clashes, and night raids has turned the area into one of the war's most perilous battlefields. From elevated positions along the right bank, Ukrainian soldiers watch the marooned Russians from above, directing drone strikes and artillery fire onto the exposed islets. The landscape offers little cover from aerial attacks, leaving Russian soldiers nowhere to hide as they are picked off by Ukrainian strikes. Oksana Kozan, head of the analytical department at the Ukrainian Security and Cooperation Center, said, "Russian military units remaining on the islands in the Dnipro Delta are facing serious problems with food, ammunition, and rotations." She added that these small group infiltration attempts using camouflage and stealth are a relatively new tactic not seen at the start of the war. The islands allow small teams the chance to gather intelligence or establish radio links to extend drone operations. Controlling the waterways also gives troops leverage over river crossings, small boat movements, and enemy resupply routes. There are reports that Russian soldiers have been forced to buy motors and boats out of their own pockets to try and make progress. John Hardy, Deputy Director of the Foundation for Defense of Democracy's Russia program, told The Telegraph that these conditions made resupply and troop rotations in the area an exceptionally difficult challenge for Russia. In general, at this stage in the war, moving to and from positions is among the most dangerous things you can do. So rotations tend to be infrequent, he said.